So 2024, obviously a lot happened, but I want to talk about two things specifically that took place in my life that really took me by surprise and was a little bit concerning to a certain degree. I would say, the first thing would definitely have to be getting a colonoscopy. That was an interesting experience. It was my first time ever going through that type of process. And I have to say, the worst part of that whole entire experience for me was the prep. The procedure itself, honestly, I don't even remember it. Having to go on a 24-hour fast, a liquid diet, that sucked. And I was hungry as I don't know what throughout that whole ordeal, man. My experience went like this. I remember getting a shot. I remember getting IVs in my arm because I had to get sedated. And then I remember waking up. That's how my experience went. I don't remember the actual procedure, and I'm glad I don't. But the outcome couldn't have been any better than it was. It definitely was different from what I envisioned. I think it was because I watched too many movies. I don't know if you guys remember Rush Hour. I think it was Rush Hour 2 or 3 when that little French guy put on that glove.
So we can go now? This will just take a moment. Welcome to Paris.
That just kind of flashed in my mind, but it was, it was nothing like that. At least, I don't remember anything like that. But it was a procedure that I had to get, man. My father passed away from colon cancer in 2013. And, the average age from what I've read is around 45 years old that you should start getting a colonoscopy. But me, being that my father had it, it's recommended that if it's in your family history, you need to get it sooner than the average person that don't have that risk factor. And so I got mine done at 43, and the results came back negative. And that's the outcome that you want, man, from, a screening like that. So that was a blessing. Now I'm encouraging my brothers. We're all a year apart. I'm encouraging them to go ahead and get that done, man. You got to stay on top of it. So if you're somebody that's out there and you have that type of history and you haven't had a colonoscopy yet, you need to get on top of that and get that done this year in 2025. Don't procrastinate with your health. That's serious and it needs to be addressed ASAP. So that was the first thing. The second thing, I got sued. I got sued last year. That really came as a surprise as well. I guess it shouldn't have been, when you think about the society that we live in, lawsuits are prevalent, particularly when it's pertaining to vehicle accidents. So, if you guys been following the channel for a while, I talked about my daughter totaling my car. She totaled my car in 2022, and I got sued in 2024. So in the state of Florida, the statute of limitations is 2 years. So that's the amount of time you have to bring forth a lawsuit. And so they pretty much, went the entire 2 years for the most part. Maybe they had some backlogs or something like that due to COVID. That could have been something that, kind of pushed it a little bit further out. I'm not sure. But that's either here nor there. It happened. And it took me by surprise. Whatever automobile you have, make sure you guys have an adequate amount of coverage in the event that you're at fault and you get sued. Hopefully your insurance can cover the damages. So basically, if the amount you're being sued exceeds the amount of coverage that you have, you're liable for those expenses. And so they can potentially come after your assets, your savings, investments, all those sorts of things. So that's just something to be mindful of, just a little bit of food for thought. But like I said, man, everything turned out great. The case got dismissed. And so that was something that was in the back of my mind, just wondering how that was going to turn out. It's crazy. I've been driving for a long time now, since I was 17 years old. I've never been involved in an accident myself. And, to have a car totaled and to go through that type of experience, it was just, it's something that you don't necessarily want to go through. I thank God that there wasn't any serious injuries in that whole ordeal, but, thankful for the outcome. Everything turned out good. Then, of course, when you think about trucking, we seen a lot of layoffs over the course of last year. One that sticks out to me was definitely the Pepsi layoff. That was surprising. I think it was like 500 employees that experienced a layoff. I think some people got laid off right before the holidays, and more, I believe, is going to be laid off early January this month. So prayers out to those people that was impacted by that layoff. Also, Coca-Cola, the Reyes Coca-Cola company, that's an LLC company. It's like a third-party company for Coca-Cola. They laid off some people. That's just two, just to name, a couple that kind of sticks out in the back of my mind right now. There were a lot more layoffs than that in the trucking industry. There was a lot of strikes going on in the trucking industry in 2024. Saw Cisco have a few different locations go on strike. So, it's just one of those things, man. When it comes to layoffs, you just never know what to expect. And you just got to be grateful if you are working. Don't take your job for granted. And then obviously make sure you have a nest egg. Get your emergency fund in order. Make sure you save an adequate amount of money for things like that when they take place. At least you have some sort of a cushion. And if you're lucky enough and you've been with the company long enough, hopefully you're able to get a severance package that will also help you in those type of situations. And then obviously when you think about YouTube and the trucking community, we lost a pioneer in the trucking game, Dave, over a Smart Trucking channel. That was a channel, just full transparency, I didn't watch a lot of his content. I watched a couple videos here and there, shorts and things of that nature, but I wasn't somebody who watched his channel consistently or often. But the content that I did watch of his, it was very informative, and I know he had a lot of wisdom around the trucking industry, and he really impacted a lot of people in the trucking space. So I definitely want to acknowledge him. Also, Alex the Trucking Guy, I want to salute him. I mean, to build a platform of over 1 million subscribers, that's amazing. And just from content creator to content creator, that deserves some kudos in my mind. So he had, an amazing run. He decided to hang up the towel on YouTube last year in 2024. Made his last video, and he said he was done with trucking. But what he did in this space, this YouTube space, was phenomenal. And I don't know if it will ever be duplicated. I don't know what truckers, I think, what's his name, Alex Nino or something like that. I think he's probably up there with Alex the Trucking Guy. So both of them are doing really good numbers in terms of subscribers and viewership and all those sorts of things. So they have phenomenal channels. But, to reach that amount of subscribers on YouTube, that's amazing. And, I gotta show him some love and salute him for the run that he had. So shout out to Alex the Trucking Guy. I hope everything works out for him, whatever endeavor that he chooses to pursue going forward, because he was a really good content creator. Again, I didn't watch his channel too much, but what he was able to build, you just got to give credit where credit is due. And then last but not least, one of the miracles that I saw happen was that Cisco truck driver that went across the bridge and was basically held on some type of way. I'm going to say, as a believer, I'm just going to say that was God, man. She had God on her side that day. Kudos to the people who saved her life in that incident. That was a horrific incident. It was terrifying to watch. And I know her heart was beating out her chest. Surprised she didn't have a heart attack, but that was a miracle to see that, and for her to survive just a blessing, man. I'm not sure if she's driving again. I know she did an interview with somebody. I didn't watch all of it, but I'm not sure if she still works for Cisco. If you know, you could drop it in the comments. But man, that was a terrifying accident to watch. I see the guy ended up getting prosecuted who actually caused the accident. But man, that was crazy. That was 2024 for me. Let me know how your 2024 was. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it everything you expected? Drop it in the comments. Look, man, until the next video, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.